So here's the second problem you sent me, Jaysa, where we're told that an electronic product takes an average of 7 hours to move through an assembly line. If the standard deviation is 0.7 hours, what is the probability that an item will take between 5 and 8.2 hours? So this is much like the previous example. We're going to need to find a z-score for 5 and a z-score for 8.2, and once again they do not want us to use the tables. So when I calculate the z-score for 5, I get a number negative 2.8571428, and so on. I think that'll be enough digits. And when I calculate the z-score for 8.2, I get a positive 1.714287, and again, I think that'll be enough digits. So now using technology, we can go to normal CDF, again under second VARS, option 2. Our lower boundary would be the smallest of those two values, which is the negative 2.8571428. And the upper boundary would be the largest, which of course would be the positive one in this case. And your calculator may or may not require that you give mean and standard deviation, but if it does require it, when you're entering z-scores, our mean is 0 and our standard deviation is 1. And when we compute this on our calculator, we get the probability between those values equal to, rounded to 4 decimal places, 0.9546. But I want to show you another way that this can be done on your calculator. So I'm going to go to our next slide. Remembering that our lower boundary is 5 and our upper boundary is 7. We can also do normal CDF and not even compute the z-scores. We can just give the actual lower boundary and the lower of the two raw scores, in this case 5. Upper boundary would be the upper of the two raw scores, in this case 8.2. Mean would be the 7, and standard deviation would be our 0.7. And when you do that, you get the very same answer, 0.9546, with less work necessary to get that answer. So again, if you're entering z-scores, your mean and standard deviation are 0 and 1. On the other hand, if you're entering raw scores, the actual values, then your mean will be the mean given and your standard deviation will be the standard deviation given.